when you start to learn that you are your own guru and you stop giving your power away to other people, you start to experience a timeline that is wilder and more enjoyable and more expansive than you ever could have imagined. And there's the programming, right, within us that tells us we can't do that, that tells us we need to follow a blueprint, that other people have done it better. And if we want to do anything similar, then we have to follow their steps. And so I hope that what I share on here never makes you feel like you have to change your life or like you have to listen to how I speak or do things or whatnot. I just hope that you find the power within yourself to follow your own path, because I think that the thing that really was the most eye-opening about my journey with health and spirituality and healing my nervous system, healing trauma, healing the parts of me that didn't know my worth, was that every time I would give away my power and like let someone else tell me how to do things, I would spend years trying to do that and then just kind of getting off path, off track. But it was all divine timing as well. I had to go those ways in order to find my way back here. But it would be like treatments with Lyme disease and mold. It's like I intuitively would know, I didn't want to eat keto and super high fat, and I didn't want to eat carnivore and a ton of meat, and I didn't want to continue detoxing nonstop, like every other week, doing really, really intense detoxes, especially like at the point when I ended up in the hospital with a near-death experience because of it. I knew I didn't want to be gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, nightshade-free, soy-free. I knew that like these things weren't the path for me, but I was listening to my doctor, to people online. I was doing all the supplements. I was spending thousands of dollars a month on the supplements. I was just a slave to what I thought I had to be doing. But the best that I ever felt was when I intuitively followed what my body was asking for. I would go to the grocery store and I would look at the foods and I would say, do I need this? Do I want this? Do I want this? And just checking in. There's muscle testing. If you've ever heard of muscle testing or tried it out, you can literally ask your body, like, what do I need right now? How many of this supplement do I need? Do I need this supplement today? Do I want this food today? Do I want to go here? Do I want to do this? Do I want to say yes to this plan? You can muscle test, but also muscle testing is just tapping into your intuition. So you can also just learn to tap into your intuition. And so when I started doing this practice, which I'm about to explain, a year ago, my whole life changed. Like right now I'm in Austria with one of my best friends and we've been traveling for a week. I was just living on a horse farm in Italy. I'm in my van. I'm traveling with my dog. I am living the life that I choose. It's probably not the life that other people would choose. It definitely is not for everyone. But for me, it's perfect. And like I shared recently, it's like I woke up at 3 a.m. to donkeys shaking my van and terrifying me. But was downloaded with the thought, like, if you only had 3 or 4 months to live, like, would you change anything? And I wouldn't. The only thing I would change would be to be more present, be more appreciative, more aware, open my eyes a bit to more that's around me, the flowers, the air, the wind, the laughter, the music, the everything, the sound of cheers, like just the little things, noticing, the art of noticing. And what really started to change my life was a year ago when I was in the place of like having panic attacks every single day at my job and commuting oftentimes 3 hours each way to go to the studio or the house that I was recording at with one of the people at the company. And I got in 2 car accidents, almost got in 4 car accidents. Like it was so clear that I wasn't in alignment with what was best for my health and happiness and well-being. And so I did one meditation, I forget where I found it, but it pretty much just got you clear like on your chakras. So you just would align your chakras, and the Law of One talks about this. Maybe Joe Dispenza talks about this too, but pretty much getting your chakras cleared first, especially like in regards to the law of one, the bottom 3 first, and then going into the heart space. So you would do root, sacral, solar, and then your heart. And you can do just visualizing them, seeing them, or putting your attention on them and just saying, I choose that they're in perfect harmony and rotation, all of your chakras, but especially those. And going into your heart space then from there and asking your heart a question. It's that simple. It's just like, where do you want to go? Do you have a message for me today? And for me, I was just getting I was getting breadcrumbs, and I was getting loud yeses and loud nos, but also little images that would then lead me to the decisions and the things that I wanted to do. And so it was in that practice that I was like, you gotta look up a ticket to Italy. I was like, really? Like, I'm seeing airplanes and all this stuff. And so through actually committing to going into this space and asking the questions and making decisions from there, I was like, okay, I'm getting loud answers and messages when I go in here. And I now have the choice to kind of listen to this, but also seek validation from the outside world of like the people who are going to be like, yeah, that's like cute and stuff, listen to your heart, but get a job and play it safe. Like, maybe just go visit Italy. But my heart is like, that's not the kind of person you are. The kind of person you are is like balls to the wall, sell everything, live life. And I was like, okay, I'll give it 1 year. 1 year, I'll just follow this, no matter what. I'll just like free fall, trust fall into the universe and see what happens. And so I did that. And even coming here to Europe, at first my way of making money was through Etsy. And I was doing like digital bouquets and things like that, which is great. But I had one day where there was a customer who just wanted to complain about it being a digital product, and they thought that it was a physical product, even though it said digital everywhere. And I realized that how I was feeling is so small, and like most people would just put up with this. But for me, I was like, this isn't the commitment for the year. I was like, I don't want to have to go through this, like where people just bully the customer service or the store owner because, you know, they missed a step. And I understand why people do it, I get it, but I was like, this isn't my path. My path is living my life, traveling, making videos, talking about the things that truly light me up, and choosing every single day to be in my authenticity and following that like blindly, just going towards that and never doing anything I don't want to do. Pretty much Abraham Hicks talks about that. Just don't do what you don't want to do. And when I first heard that like 4 years ago, I was like, how am I supposed to not do anything I don't want to do? Most people would say that's impossible, right? You have to do things you don't want to do. And to an extent, yeah, like I think that, you know, like an ice bath, for example, part of you will want to do it because perhaps want to do it. Like for me, I'll want to do it because I know that I feel amazing after it. But then there's also the part of you that doesn't want to do it. But doing something like that can actually be very beneficial for you. Dr. Mark Hyman, no, not Mark Hyman. Why do I always forget his name? The other doctor who has the top podcast next to Joe Rogan and Call Her Daddy, Dr. Huberman Lab. So he talks about how if you do things that you don't want to do, like specific things like doing an ice bath or like a challenging thing, that does increase a certain part of your brain that leads to more longevity. And so there can be benefit to doing that. But in general, like living a life that you don't want to be living and like committing to like a job or a partner or a friend or a living situation that you don't want to be a part of or like be experiencing every single day, those are the things that I really started to bring into this commitment to myself for the past year of not doing them. And so when I had that email on that day and that realization with the Etsy business and kind of realizing like it wasn't just that customer, it was a lot of like, you know, customers just asking for details and stuff. And I was in customer service for a long, long time. And I was like, this is not what I wanted to be doing, even if it's my own business. So I took down my store. I just put it on pause. And I was like, okay, like and you're not supposed to just jump without another branch to swing to when you're thinking about like transurfing. The book Transurfing talks about, you know, quantum manifestation and choosing from the quantum field, but you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket because that creates resistance towards the chosen timeline. And so you want to give your brain and your mind and your field evidence that, like, you know, you don't need it, like you're fine without it. And so I have taken that into account as well, and been able to make different programs and work towards the things that I truly want to be doing, which is YouTube and making health coaching programs and working one-on-one with people. And so I've kind of diversified myself in that way, but allowed myself to make it in a way that works for me. You know, my practice here on YouTube, before I used to want to like edit videos a ton and like make nice vlogs and everything, but I was like, that doesn't light me up. Like that takes away from me traveling and experiencing and everything. It's much easier for me to just sit down and record and put a video up. And so I was like, that feels good. And that's not what's recommended. You know, I don't take time to make fancy thumbnails or anything, but that's also not what's recommended. But intuitively, that's what feels good to me. That is what I find in my heart. When I check in and I say, what should I be doing? It says, do the thing that feels good. And that allows this process to be enjoyable and consistent. That's the biggest thing too, is like what allows you to be consistent with the things that you're moving towards, and how can you alter it to work with your way of being, your way of thinking, and so that it's enjoyable. And so that's the message. Yesterday we went to a beer tent, and it was so amazing, so authentic. Like, just, we were probably the only tourists there, but we made some friends, and we were dancing with them and dancing on tables and so many chairs, and just, it was so fun. The music is amazing, and there's just songs that are never published online, and they are taught by the elders here. They change a little bit depending on the region, and they're about the land, and just to meet people who truly, you know, love this part of their culture and get to share it with us and explain it to us. It was just so much fun. And when we're driving away and got home last night, I was like, wow, I'm sad to leave. I'm really sad to leave that, because that was so much fun. That was like such a highlight of this trip. But every single night that Dom has been here and on the farm, like everything has just been such a highlight recently. Even with the van issues that we talk about a lot on here, the van, someone said ascension by van. It's so funny because it is my biggest spiritual teacher right now. But it's allowing me these incredible experiences of just feeling so alive and so just in it, just getting to experience the things that I truly want to be experiencing. And that's because I've allowed myself to be my own guru, to find what my heart wants, to listen and to follow it blindly, and to create a life from that place for myself. And there's nothing else I'd rather be doing than living this life in this way right now, and sharing with you online in this way right now. So thank you for being here. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'll get Arlo more in the videos. I know you guys love him, but he always runs around in the background, and so sometimes it's hard for me to think about what I'm going to say when I'm also trying to be mom and make sure he's not eating things in the grass that could make him sick and just being a puppy. But we'll get him more in once we figure out what the next adventure is after I drive Dom to Vienna to the airport. She's leaving tomorrow, so I will see you tomorrow. Please leave a comment if you feel called to do so. It helps my channel. Subscribe if you're new here, and I think I already said it, but give this a thumbs up. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.